Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be going over I took a couple trades today, but I'm going to be mainly highlighting the trade that made me all of my money today, which is going to be longs here on the S&P 500. So I'm going to show you guys the results first and we'll get into the actual video. So you guys can see first and foremost, live account, $14,228 I made on one of my personal accounts today. And then on a top step, 150K Express account, I made $4,378 on the same exact trade. Which, now let's go over the trade. The trade was super simple. By the way, guys, I don't know how the audio quality is going to sound on this video. I know in the last video, some of you guys were complaining that the mic was cutting out. I'm going to try and get that fixed, so I hope the audio quality here is better. But when we started off the day today, again, context is super important, and understanding context and a little bit more about auction market theory is what's going to be the base and the foundation today. Whenever price action opens up inside of a prior value area, there's a higher probability that we will see a trending day inside of the market. But typically, what I've seen, not only what I've experienced, but what I've back tested as well, is that the first hour to 2 hours of the day, it's going to be some form of a range. We're going to see some form of a sweep of a low, or a specific level is going to get tested, and then price will trend in the opposite direction. So in the early morning, I always try and look for some form of a reversal setup, because typically that's what's going to happen. And what happened earlier this morning, we see that the market opened up, we see aggressive selling step in, price dumps all the way down into the 7,400 key level, and on top of that, we dumped down into the weekly profiles value area low. So I was interested in buying down here, as I was telling my students in the live room earlier this morning, but I did not take the longs from down here because I didn't get an entry signal. I could have potentially got an entry signal up here, but by then I wasn't really targeting, new all-time highs. I was targeting these, I was actually the 15s, which is going to be around here, and the R multiple didn't really make sense for me. So I did take a couple trades on the way up, which I did make some money on some base hits. But the main trade and the main thing that I was telling my students was basically what I wanted to see was a break and retest of these 34s all the way to these 35s. Why? Because at that specific level, we have not only this high from yesterday, but we also have the value area high sitting at that specific range. So if we could see the buyers prove themselves to be true and strong, and what I mean by that is the buyers taking and holding control of the market, and we see a breakthrough prior value, and we see price hold above it, that's where I'd be interested in longing the market up. Now, where was I looking to take targets and longing the market up to? It was going to be around these 48s, because at those 48s, what we ended up seeing was we saw, and I'm going to pull up my Discord here because I actually sent a screenshot in the chat. So basically, this is a screenshot. At these 48s, we saw the weekly profile value area high, and then this protection level, which is an extension of a break of the initial balance, also lined up there as well. So we had a really good confluence at that specific level, which is going to be the 48s. So again, that's why I was looking along this area, but I wanted to see that break and retest. Now, I'll never just take a break and retest. I always need to see order flow confirmation behind it. So when it came down to price action pushing up into this area, we can start to see the buyers are now getting aggressive as we're pushing up into the high of the day, and as we're pushing high of the session, and as we're pushing up into this specific key level and yesterday's value area high. So once price was actually finally able to break through with strength, how do we know there's strength? Well, look at the amount of aggressive buyers that stepped in here. I mean, we have 708 contracts. If we look at the large buying and selling that happened throughout the entire day, no other order even comes close, but we have 708 contracts at a high of day. So that's telling me that these buyers are willing to pay a premium for where the market is currently sitting at. Then the next thing we have to check is volume. We have 4,000 on volume. So there's a lot of volume being traded at this breakout candlestick. If there was maybe 1.2K orders, I'm not interested. It's not signs of a breakout, but now we have 4,000 on volume, and then we have big trades here where we have 708 contracts. Now I'm interested. This is confirming a breakout with strength. Now, what I want to see, of course, is the retest, and for that retest to actually hold. So the very first trade I took on this setup, I was already green on the day, and I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, was a retest of where these buyers stepped in. Now, I have the zone marked up and not the level specifically, because this is a general range of where the buyers started getting aggressive as we're pushing up into this range here, and I'm identifying this by looking at the big trades indicator here, and you can see these buying imbalances. So I had a limit order here right at this buying imbalance, and my stop loss was just simply right under the and my stop loss was just simply right under the zone itself, and I was targeting these 48s. Now I was okay with entering with a little bit less of probability when it comes to the entry signal itself. It's not really that great when you don't see like significant absorption, and I'll literally show you the example right now. But the R multiple was there, and I was already up, and I was green on the day already, about 2 R. So I was willing to risk like 0.75, close to 1 R on this trade to try and make another 6.88 R, which this trade ended up in a stop loss, as you guys could see. Now, that is going to be one entry signal that we had there. But as you guys can see, once we kind of push through this zone and we start seeing the sellers get aggressive, notice how we have aggressive selling on the wick of this candlestick. This is clear as day absorption. And what absorption is, it's just simple. It's super simple concept. It's aggressive selling pushing into buy limit orders on the order book. And you want to think about those buy limit orders as soaking up all of that aggression. And if we look at the volume here, there's only 2.2K in volume. So again, when we have a candlestick like this where we have the sellers, or essentially the big trades indicator that's showing us aggressive sellers on the wick of a bullish candlestick, clear as day absorption. So the minute I saw and identified that, that's why I decided to take the longs again. My stop loss was just literally slightly beneath this absorption point. I think I had it maybe like an 8 tick stop loss. And then my overall take profit was this protection level all the way up here. Now, unfortunately for me, I was not able to catch this entire move, or this would have been a 7.75 R multiple. I ended up getting shaken out of the trade a little bit earlier because the Wi-Fi in my warehouse went out and I couldn't see any of the order flow. So once I saw this big bearish, or this kind of bearish engulfing candlestick form, I decided to cut the trade under this wick here, just to kind of play it safe, because we were at high of day and I don't see any of the order flow data, anything that's going on. And I didn't even get the Wi-Fi back until we were at all-time highs again. So it kind of sucks, but it is kind of it is what it is in that situation. But nonetheless, it was still a 4.5 R trade, and the setup was simple. It was a break and retest setup, and the only difference here was I used order flow confirmation to be able to actually execute on this position and find me a better area to actually enter off of. Because it's really easy to say, hey, you know what, we have this high here, we have this other high over here, we could just wait for a break and retest of these highs, yada yada. But when we talk about it from a volume perspective, this is where the previous value area high was. So the level itself is a much stronger level to keep things as simple as I possibly can. Anyways, I just noticed my camera died there, but that's going to be it for today's video, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys can start to understand a little bit that order flow really isn't something that's so complicated. It's data that you can add to your current trading strategy to make it better. As simple as that, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.